He's here in Studio AP alongside CEO of Diamond Resorts, Mike Flasky. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
This is great to have you in studio. What are your impressions?
It's the first time. It's beautiful. Now I can see why people want to work here.
There you go. You see, we'll have you anytime. You've won events, John, around the world. You're now also a winner on the PGA Tour Champions and enjoying life on that tour. You chose to begin 2017 by playing the Diamond Resorts Invitational, and you will do so again in 2018. Why do you enjoy playing an event like this so much? Because it's unique.
It's very unique, but for me, it's cool that we get to. A lot of my country buddies, a lot of my you know. All the athletes that played, you know, baseball, the football players, the LPGA, just a chance to play with them and see them, you know, once a year is basically about what we get. And unless you play the AT&T Pebble Beach or whatever, but it's a great warm-up for the season. It's a great golf course. Mike's great. He hosts us very, very well. And, you know, with Jake Owen's concert last year, and now this year it's Cole Swindle, Cole Ford, Lee Bryce. I mean, you know, you got great entertainment, and I think when you put entertainment with good people, it makes the amateurs, the sponsors, and everybody it's just a win-win week for everybody.
It's a can't-miss date for your calendar, really, isn't it? And I'm so pleased you brought up the diverse field, because you will return, Mike, to Tranquillo Golf Club January 12th through 14th. But how hard is it to assemble a field so diverse like this and find a date that does work for everyone?
Well, it's very difficult, and one of the things we looked at is in the baseball world, you know, they start spring training in mid-February, so we have to be ahead of that. So we have a great contingency of Major League Baseball players that come out and support it. And then from the professional side, you know, it was amazing how the Champions Tour came out and supported. John was one of the first to commit, and, you know, they followed suit. And then the LPGA ladies got involved, and that's really what makes it unique, because there are very few platforms where you can take Lexi and Brittany Lincecum and Brittany Lang and Brooke and put them on the same tee with John side by side, and let's see how they do. Right?
I bet they love that. So there are a few more ladies teeing it up this year. I know Brooke is one of the names you mentioned. Are there any other new initiatives we can expect this time?
Well, Paula Kramer is a new addition, which we're very excited. She's going to play her first time back since, you know, having her hand surgery. We've got a ton. We've got Justin Verlander and Brian McCann back from the World Series champion Houston Astros. So the field is incredibly strong, and we're thrilled to have everybody come out. It's going to be an exciting time. The crowds were great last year, and we expect big crowds again this year.
Well, certainly if this man's in the field. John, he mentions the baseball players, the football players. What's it like from you teeing it up alongside these other athletes? Can you learn anything from the way they try and bring their sport to golf?
Well, you know, I was fortunate to play with, you know, my Celtic buddy, I call him Ray Allen, last year. I know he ended up with the Heat, but he shot 64-5 on me. I mean, beat me by 2 or 3 shots. I mean, you know, I was rooting him on. I mean, it's just a chance that you know, you want to beat everybody, but for the celebrity side of it, or the athlete side of it, I call it, you're rooting them on, wanting them to win as well. You're playing with them, playing with Colt Ford and Jake Owen in the first round. Those are 2 of my best buddies, and just to be able to play with them and have a good time. And it's competitive, but it's also, you want to root your guys on. They're rooting me on as I'm rooting them on, because we have a different style of tournament. But Ray Allen, next thing you know, I get a Celtic jersey and also a Heat jersey from him the next day. And it's just stuff like that that brings it all together. But I know most of the athletes and everybody, but like I said, just to be able to spend some time with them, play some practice rounds with them, and see how everybody's doing, it's just awesome.
Right, friendships and lifelong relationships are really built on the golf course. I'm sure people ask you for tips all the time when you play with amateurs, celebrities, sportsmen, and I know you're going to be in our simulator in a little bit with Charlie Reimer, so I'll let him tackle that one with you. But before we let you go, Mike, what is the significance of having someone like John in the field? You said as soon as he was one of the first to commit, people follow suit. How important is the support of the big names?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, it gives the tournament the credibility that we need, and you know, we're after, you know, a charitable cause, and the tournament has raised $2.3 million for Florida Hospital for Children in the short 3 years. And if it wasn't for folks like John giving their time and coming out early on to support it, it wouldn't have built this groundswell that it's built. And, you know, our television ratings exceeded everyone's expectation, literally blew us all away. And so it's a big deal having a guy like John commit early, and we're very thankful.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Look at that.
You know, one of my favorite stories, JD, is when we were paired together at the Tiger Woods Foundation event at Congressional, and my brother Clint was caddying for me. We were warming up on the range. It was we were first or second group out, so it was really early. And I'm looking around, and I don't see John. And walking to the tee, I'm like, is JD, you know, is he going to be here this morning? And then as we're walking to the tee, you shoot out from the clubhouse. Never even went to the range. Went to the first tee shot at the 10th hole, which is that par 3 over the water, about 210 yards. It's like a 4 or 5 iron, and I'm looking at my brother. I'm tapping him on the shoulder. I'm going, man, you know, this is a hard shot. Like, you didn't hit any practice balls, and so I'm watching as you're teeing up the ball. I'm seeing the water. It's cold. Don't really know how far the ball is going to carry, and you hit it in there like 10 feet. And I'm like, man, this guy's amazing. That's always been one of your biggest gifts, is you have the tremendous feel. You talk about not having an instructor, and you talk about working through certain things. What can you impart to, you know, a lot of players that want to be field players? What is the biggest asset that you've found in your game that's allowed you to maintain that feel?
I think for me, it's like, you know, if I feel like I'm playing pretty good and if I don't feel like going to the range, I always think of hitting like a sand wedge, like hit that 5-iron like a sand wedge. Just grip it lightly and just swing at it like a wedge. I think most amateurs get so wrapped up, the shaft's longer, they think they got to swing harder. So I've always believed in just kind of swing everything like a wedge. I know it doesn't look like it because my swing's so long, but I've always done that, you know. Pinch the 3/4 shots and then go ahead and be fluid with the rest of the shots, but it's like everything's like a sandwich to me.
I've heard David Duval talk about the same thing with releasing the club. Release everything almost like you're hitting a flop shot. We're going to get you to walk over here and hit a few just a second. We're going to talk a little football first. You follow Arkansas. My kid's on the team at Missouri. I'm not going to mention that Missouri beat Arkansas to finish off the season.
Last two, by the way.
Do that. Yeah, I don't want to bring that up, but a lot of people don't know you were a high school football player. Tell us about that.
Well, I kicked for Elias Crusaders. I was a field goal kicker. I could throw it a mile, I just couldn't run. So if I couldn't do that, I just wanted to be linebacker. Well, I didn't have any speed to tackle anybody, but I love to hit. But when you can't catch anybody, you're not going to hit anybody. So coach says, what do you do? I said, well, I punt and kick. So I ended up kicking field goals for Elias. And I think our greatest game was we got, I can't remember the team that canceled on us, but big team out of just outside of Columbia, which you might know, Rockbridge High School, right?
Rockbridge is good in Columbia,
big
Missouri.
School.
Yep.
They were like Jeff City, 2,000, 3,000 kids, you know, big high school.
Yeah.
We were a small school, and they says, we'll play them. So make a long story short, I ended up kicking 2 field goals and beating Rockbridge. We were 3A. They were like 5A back then.
As we head over to get you to hit some, what was the longest field goal you ever made?
I think it was like 46.
In high school.
I think so.
That's impressive right there.
Into the wind.
Well, one of the things that's always fascinated me, your routine for warming up, Tom Watson starts with a long iron. What club do you normally start with? I mean, you don't, like, ease into it with a wedge, do you?
Well, sometimes I do. I mean, let me get my Charlie Reimer caddy of school, how to put the clubs back in the bag.
Never get away from Charlie.
Might have to go to commercial.
That never gets old.
Before you get a club
So this is like a 50. So sometimes if I'm feeling, you know, like I need to just get this left arm going, I'll just go out and, you know, just hit a couple chip shots, you know.
Some one-handers. Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, that'll be it.
A little bit closer to you there, JD, with the ball.
About 10 of these and
just zip it on
go
through.
to the first tee.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You don't even really get 2 hands on there and hit a few just to see how you're feeling.
No.
Yeah.
And John,
well, wasn't Jack Nicklaus always said if he hit 12 really solid wedges on the tee or something, that he just, you know, heck with it, I'm just going to go to the tee.
Well, I mean, it's called a warm-up. It's not a practice session, right? So go get warmed up, get the muscles going, and, you know, go out and play tournament golf. One of the biggest assets, obviously, that people know you for is your power and your length off the tee. For years, a decade, it was you and Tiger that were hitting it by everybody. What has allowed you to maintain good touch around the green and be able to combine the two? Because you don't win major championships and PGA Tour events without being able to chip and putt. And that's always been one of your biggest assets. You have one of the greatest touch around the green. And what do you work on to maintain that feel around the...
I think for me, it's the one-arm shot. And I think, you know, I've tried to reach out to Tiger. A lot of times with his chipping when it went bad, you can't chip when your shoulder's up. How that left shoulder gets up on him. You can't drive into the chip. So The blessing for me has always been the left arm, chipping, but look at the left shoulder. It always stays low through impact. You know, once that shoulder stays low through impact, all you got to do is change the loft of the club to hit a flop or to hit it low or whatever.
One swing produces a lot of different shots just from changing golf clubs.
It's changing golf clubs and, of course, changing loft. I mean, this is a 50. I hit that really low, but I can lean a little left, open the face up, come a little more.
Get up a little bit higher.
Outside and in, because it's a wedge, and then flop it a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to run grab your driver. I mean, you know, it's fascinating to listen to you talk about wedges, but we really didn't bring you in to hit wedges. I'm going to tee one up for you, too.
Oh, yeah.
You got a preference on the color?
No, it don't matter.
Okay, we'll go with orange then. All right, so let's see. John Daly blasting one away. You got hit a few one-armers, and now you're on the first tee with a driver. I mean, that first drive, is it just full bore, wide open?
Nah, it's about 85%. Should cut about 5 yards, you know, first swing of the day. Yeah, you just got to trust your equipment, Charlie. You know what I mean?
I think you pulled that one a little bit. I mean, it's like 6 yards left.
I kind of went straight.
Right there. Let me just finish with this. All the guys now, they go in, they lift weights, they come out, they're cut, all of that. What do you think about that? I mean, is it sort of, do you chuckle about it, or do you think maybe if I'd have done that, I'd hit even longer? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I'd want to take a nap before I teed off with some of these guys. I mean, VJ's regiment is crazy still.
Yeah.
The Champions Tour, I mean, he works out, he goes and hits balls forever, and then he goes plays, hits balls after. Everybody's different, you know. I'm one of those guys that when I play, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to hit putts. I don't want to chip. I'm done for the day, even if it's a good or bad day.
Send this one for us, would you?
Less is more, JD. Less is more.
See why I did that? It matches his shirt. You see why?
See that?
Nice job, Charlie. You just got it all covered.
Boom, baby.
There it is. There's that baby face.
Don't need no stinking warm-up. John Daly is in the house. He's going to stick around with us. You guys stick around as well.